Today we're talking about the Peer Mentoring Program, which serves a select, diverse group of first-year students in their transition to UNCP by matching them with a trained peer mentor. We'll learn how this program helps students on campus and beyond. It's campus to community. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Hannah Baggott-Anderson, Lecturer of English and Literacy Commons Faculty Fellow. With me to talk about the Peer Mentoring Program at UNCP are Junior Pre-Nursing Major and Peer Mentor Kaitlyn Kelly, and Junior Biology Major and Student Coordinator Regan Scott. In the second half of the show, we'll be joined by student Alerian Sutton. Welcome, Kate and Regan.
Good morning.
To start off our conversation today, could you tell me a little bit about what the Peer Mentoring Program is and how it got started?
The Peer Mentoring Program is a collaboration between the Office for Community and Civic Engagement and the Center for Student Success. This partnership is to create a mentoring program in which incoming freshmen can get assigned a mentor who is upperclassman, very involved on campus and has a high GPA, someone who can give really good advice. Our mentors go through an application process. So this time they applied in the summer, and hopefully we're going to start our application process in the spring. The process is pretty extensive, and we select the best mentors for our incoming students.
I like hearing that. So Kate, does that make you feel good? What was the process like for you to apply to this program?
When I first heard about the peer mentoring program, I actually heard it from a friend. I heard about it from a friend, and I thought it sounded very, I thought it sounded like a very good opportunity just for, rising sophomores, rising juniors, just to get involved. Because, like a lot of times you don't want to get involved in per se Greek life or anything like that. You want something more quieter, and this is quieter to where you can still help people, and it makes a difference, a lot of difference.
Yeah.
So yes, that does make me feel special.
That's good. Regan, specifically, you're what we call a student coordinator with this program. Could you talk to us about what that means and how the peer mentoring program as a whole got started? What was the catalyst for starting this program?
So the program was started to try to discover a new and inventive way to retain our incoming freshmen until graduation, to make sure they stay here, they stay at UNCP, and they're involved students while they're here. During the summer, I matched, after the application process I spoke about earlier, I matched our mentors with our freshmen, based mainly on major. Then we started planning events. We had our meet and greet, we planned a pool party, and we're also planning a Halloween event coming up tomorrow.
Nice, that's exciting. Why do, and this is a question for both of you, when we think about, the need for this peer mentoring program, right, which maybe on paper is about retaining our students, to keep them involved. Freshman year is super hard, right? But beyond just retaining them, why do you think this program is important?
I feel like a lot of people, when they first come to UNCP, all they see is the extremely small campus and that it's really quiet here. So a lot of people, they want the party life, they want the city life, and UNCP is not that. It's a very close-knit community, and it is like a family here. You just have to get to know that family.
I like that. Good language. Regan, do you agree? You have some other thoughts?
Yes, I agree. I think my biggest point for being involved in this program is to create a sense of belonging for our incoming students. We want them to feel at home here at Pembroke. We want them to let them know through the use of our mentors that we are here to help them and here to make sure that they have a good time while they're here.
Yeah, I like that. I think we even have a picture of, I don't know if it's the whole program, is it student coordinators and peer mentors? Like, who is it here in this photo that we have?
This picture is actually the meet and greet I spoke about earlier. At this event, we kind of played a game where we assigned a cartoon character to our mentors and mentees, and they had to find each other without speaking about the cartoon character. We had ice cream. It was just for our program to start and everybody get to know each other, everybody to familiarize faces with who their mentor is, who their mentees are, exchange numbers, and that type of thing.
Good to know. I love that, and I love seeing Dalton Hoffer of CC right there in the front. Right.
And Danielle Nee is also in the front, and she is our representative from the Center for Student Success.
Perfect. A good combination of people there. I want to think about too, so this peer mentoring program, from my understanding, is about, connecting student with student on campus. But I want to think about, and as we do on campus to community, what kind of effect this kind of program could potentially have on our local community outside of campus. Do we have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think if we can make a good enough impression on our incoming students when they get here, they'll learn to love Pembroke, the community, that much more, and maybe even stay, or if not stay, but invest more time into the local community while they're here, if they're here enjoying their time while they're in college.
Yeah.
I just think that, a lot of stuff with millennials and Generation X, it's just, word of mouth. So I feel like if we make a good enough impression on our mentees that we have currently, that they'll, tell their family members or their cousins or their brothers and sisters that are coming into college. And they'll tell them, like, UNCP really helped me. They were there for me. They assigned somebody that was personally just for me. Just give them hope.
Yeah, and that level of personal investment, right, is so important, especially because we're such a small campus. But I guess one of the goals then too, or what I see potential for the peer mentoring program, do you all do volunteer work at this moment in the community or have plans to?
Well, our mentors are actually volunteers, so every time they meet with their students or discuss with their students, get coffee with their students, that's considered volunteering because they are putting their time up to meet with their students. And we're planning some group volunteer activities in the future.
Good. I like hearing that. Excellent. So I want to think too, Regan, while we have you here, before we move to talking with Alerian about her and Kate's experiences as peer mentors, what do you do as student coordinator, like on a daily or perhaps weekly, monthly basis with this program?
So I think my most important job is to be available for the mentors. So if they have concerns or they have needs, I'm the person they're supposed to come to express those needs, and I'm supposed to figure out a way to help them, maybe help facilitate conversation between them and their mentee, to give them some talking points, or if their mentee is having trouble with some things, I could submit care reports, that type of thing. That's my number one job, and just planning events for the program. I also facilitate some trainings for our peer mentors. So they take a UNV 2000 class to learn about theories and stuff applied to our program. But I go in on certain days along with the other coordinator and facilitate trainings just about how to be inspirational or how to be something helpful to the mentees.
Yeah. Do you find that helpful, Kate, or is that an on-the-spot question? Yeah.
I feel like it is very beneficial to the mentors because, like she said, we are volunteers. Like, we do take a lot of our time to be there for our mentees, which is no problem. But to have somebody that's also there for us is like a load off. Because a lot of times, like, we are students too. So a lot of times these students may have troubles that, are past us. And Rain and her co-worker, Summer, may have the answers or the resources or just the know-how of how to deal with these certain situations that we have no clue what to do with.
So it's helpful to have those different skill sets in these positions.
Yes.
Because this is also, I'll say, the first time that we've had a group of entirely students on campus to community, which is exciting for me personally to be able to talk to y'all. But hearing your experience running this program that's so important, I mean, just kudos to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And on that note, I think Regan, we will say thank you to you for talking to us from your standpoint as an administrator over this program. And we'll take a look at a PSA from the Honors College, and then we'll come back to talk with Alerian and Kate some more.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Regan.
The Esther G. Maynard Honors College at UNC Pembroke offers driven students an advanced learning community to live, learn, and grow together while on campus. Our scholars not only take specialized honors courses as part of their general curriculum, but also enjoy regular co-curricular events on and off campus with access to opportunities exclusive to Honors College members. Oak Hall is home to our living, learning community where honors students can live alongside each other on the first floor.
As an honors college student, I have the opportunity to study and learn along with other students in a very specialized curriculum.
The Honors College faculty instruct small seminar classes and encourage service learning activities.
As a student in the Honors College, I have access to all the facilities that the Honors College has to offer.
The Honors program is driven by three very primary principles: opportunity, excellence, and advancement. These three principles drive everything that we do, and they're principles by which our students move through our curriculum, and by the time they leave, usually are more independent thinkers, more critical thinkers, more effective leaders, and better citizens.
Find out more about our Maynard Honors College and our scholarships today.
And Kate, both peer mentors and both nursing majors. So we'll talk a little bit about their experience as peer mentors. Welcome, Alerian.
Hello.
And welcome back, Kate.
Hi.
To get started, I'd love some context of what it's like for you two to balance, and I think this is something Kate and I have talked about a little bit, but to balance the stress of being a nursing major, which we all know is a heavy load, and volunteering in this intense peer mentoring program.
Well, for me personally, I feel like it's a must. Like, if you can't balance a rigorous major and something that you volunteered for, you shouldn't be doing it.
For me, it wasn't that hard doing the peer mentor program because I already have to balance just my nursing already, and then I'm in a sorority as well. Oof. So I already have to balance this, so it was just another thing. But it's more about the benefit of it, because I wish that I had somebody to mentor me my freshman year, because I was doing a lot of things blindly and I didn't know. It was more like a trial run kind of thing. And I wish I would have had someone there to support me and understand from a student perspective about things.
I like hearing about that whole concept of, you know, being the person that you needed when you were there. It's something I think of as an educator all the time. But being in a sorority too, man, that's, you know, Kate was mentioning earlier, to poke a little fun, but that's, you know, peer mentoring is a little more quiet versus perhaps being involved in Greek life. Would you agree, Alerian?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, but I do a lot of I do kind of do a little bit of mentoring now that we have a little bit more new girls. So it's like I'm adding on to more people that I advise, so I kind of be able to make that kind of transition a little bit easier. But if I was telling someone that just started at UNCP, I wouldn't necessarily join Greek life right off. I would start small with the peer mentor and then work our way up. Do it that way.
Good. That's a good thought. So I want to say, let's think about telling our viewers what peer mentoring looks like in the classroom or at the coffee shop. What do you do when you talk to your mentors?
Well, in class they do teach us a lot of theories and just about a lot of resources that we can use to benefit our mentees in any way possible. But for me, meeting with my mentees, it was awkward at first because, you know, we're new to them, we're strangers. They don't know us from Adam or Eve. So it's just, I would say that they're scared. You know, like, it's something new, they don't understand it quite, but they know that we're there for them. So for me, it was just, you know, establishing trust for them, like establishing that I'm here to help them, not harm them, and if they need me, I'm here.
I I like that.
Mine was more professional, but when I went to see my first mentor, she wanted to call me Miss Sutton, and I'm just like, I'm not that much older than you. And Alerian is just fine. But basically, she was mostly asking me about classes and if, you know, about our options and resources to help her get her grades up. And it was really more about, I give her all these options to better herself, but is she really going to take them? Like, which one is she going to choose? But I let her know that I'm here for you to use me as one of your resources. I'm here to help you benefit the best way I know how. And if I can't figure it out, then I don't mind asking someone else to help out. Like, I'm here to make sure that you get to the top of the charts, you know?
Yeah, piggybacking off of that, she made a good point because it is closing in on our first semester here back at school. So it's just like a lot of them are struggling. They are like trying to balance their personal life and their academic life. And a lot of them were impacted by the current floods and the current, you know, tragedies that did befall this community. So it's like, I know personally with me and my mentees, a lot of them were just trying to figure out how to get back into that routine like they had in August. Because a lot of them are disheveled. They're, you know, they're not, I don't know, they're not balanced as they were when they first got here. They're not, you know, enthusiastic. They're not ready to be here anymore, you know. It's kind of getting to the point where, you know, it's Thanksgiving. It's time to go home.
Yeah.
But they need to realize that they still, like, still here.
Yeah.
Got to keep pushing.
Yeah. And how do you encourage them then to stay on top of not only their schoolwork, but also any extracurricular activities that they're involved in?
My mentee that I met with, one of my mentees that I met with, she told me that for her, balancing like her personal life or her volunteer life and her academic life was becoming extremely overwhelming, and that she did get very emotional because she felt like she was running out of time. And I told her, you know, first of all, don't cry, because trust me, you have all the time in the world. Not that you need to be here for all the time in the world, but you do have time. So I feel like they don't need to overwhelm themselves. They don't need to become emotional or unstable. They just need to take a deep breath and head on.
Yeah, I know that's going to be okay. They just got to push through.
Yeah, it's going to be okay. It's not the end of the world.
I try to advise like my mentees not to do any like extracurricular activities like the first semester, just because you're still trying to get that transition from high school to college, and the teaching style from the professors and your high school is two different things. And you got to kind of learn your study style first and how you want to work in your classes, because some of the classes you took in high school are totally different than the ones you take in college. So then I just advise them to just go out to like little activities they have around campus and see, you know, what they like, what they don't like. And then second semester, maybe join like a little club and do stuff like that, or just go to the care center and then just help out. That's what I did my second semester freshman year. I went to the care center and did some volunteer hours there, just like restocking shelves and, you know, just helping out the pantry, getting food situated, and just work your way up to doing things like that. And then by doing all those different little things, you can find out what you really like and what you love, and then get more involved in those things and work from there.
Yeah, I like hearing that, and I think that's a good plug for realizing that even just a few volunteer hours and in like in-house on-campus organization like the Care Resource Center can have a great impact both on the community and on the individual, right? So you, Alerian, you're talking about volunteering with Care Resource Center. Kate, did you volunteer your first semesters here?
Yes, I did. Yes, I volunteered.
It's like, think back
Yes,
now.
I had to make sure when this holiday was, and during Martin Luther King Day. And, you know, I also volunteered when former President Clinton visited our campus. Yeah, I volunteered there. It was, you know, it was a lot of people never seen that many people at UNCP, but it was very fun. It was a unique experience, to say the least, because it wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't, you know, everyday life like seeing other students around you. You know, everybody worked together. They try to get the task done, and that's a good thing. I agree with Alerian, though. You shouldn't overwhelm yourself, because college is not high school. It's extremely different, and it's extremely difficult. But once you get your footing and your ground, I think it'll all work out.
Yeah. So it's all about then like finding your routine or your rhythm. Is that kind of what you're teaching at that mentoring level?
Yeah, and we're teaching them that we are a resource to plug into their routine. Like, we are there for them in any way.
And it's more that we tell them, you know, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to, I know, not fail a class, don't encourage it. But, you know, if it happens and you don't get a good grade, like a C or like a C- or something like that,
it's not the end
you,
of the world.
it's like you're a freshman. Like, this is your first semester. You, like, no one really graduates most likely at 4 years. Like, you have time to make up for these classes and retake these classes and work harder. Like, you're still trying to make that transition. Like, you're not as social when you first get to college, because you're away from home, you're living by yourself, you have to do a lot of things by yourself, like laundry, which I didn't want to do. But, you know, you got to make that adjustment, that transition, because you're in high school. When you're in high school, things are done for you. It's a lot easier. But when you're in college, you're becoming your own person, your own individual. And, you know, you change who you are as you go through college. So it's okay to try new things, like I want to take an art class this year and then maybe a music class next or something like that. So it's okay to make an adjustment and, you know, make mistakes and, you know, live life.
I feel like a lot of incoming freshmen, they felt like it was their senior year of high school. We needed to have our life together. We needed to know where we were going, what we were going to do, what we were going to major in. And then when they got to college, it was just like, I think that they still had that adrenaline behind them. They still had that mentality that, yes, I need to have this, this, and this, and this. It's like for the first couple months, it's okay to, you know, just try to figure out what you want to do with your life, who you want to be, like, because situations change you. Like, college changes you. Nobody is the same person they were a year ago or 6 months ago. You know, situations and personal life tragedies change a person. So I just feel like they should let college shape them. They shouldn't let it harm them.
I like that. Do you share that kind of advice explicitly with your mentees, and how do they respond to that?
I told my mentee that exact same thing, and she told me, she was just like, she looked like she physically relaxed, because she felt like she didn't have a lot of time. She felt like basically like the ceiling was closing in on her, like this was the end, and she had to do something really fast. Like, it was a purge. Like, she felt like she was going downhill, and I told her, you know, just breathe. Like, you gotta breathe, because if you don't, like, it'll all become too much very quickly.
Right.
Yeah, similar to that, when I had first met my mentee and she was telling me about all these classes and what she was going to do, I was just like, girl, I didn't have all my stuff together either when I first started. Like, I was stressing out. I was in your place too, but it's okay. Look at me now. I'm doing great. So I was like, yeah. And she was just like, oh my God, that makes me feel so much better. And I was like, yeah, a lot of us, we assume that we know what we want to do when we first get here. But as we start doing the classes, we're like, oh my God, is this really for me? But then you kind of got to push through that little negativity and get to the positivity and just literally find out who you are.
Yeah.
Yes, because like Regan said before, our mentees are matched with us through major and other subjects, but mainly major. And my mentees are pre-nursing majors, and when one of their first statements were, oh my God, you're in the nursing program? And I was just like, no, I'm pre-nursing. I was like, I'm getting there. I was like, it's a lot of hard work, and it's not for the weak, but, you know, you'll get there.
Yeah, and I think we forget, particularly on my side of things, we forget that it's so difficult to figure out nursing, and I want to come back to that because I want to be able to talk about these photos here of you all in class. you told me earlier that you learned some theories, you talked about some stuff. Could you walk us through what y'all are doing here?
In this particular photo, we are defining what peer mentoring means to us, like the fundamentals of peer mentoring to us, like what we think it should be and what we feel like we are to them.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah.
And then here, what's going on?
I think this I do believe is when we had to teach our own classes. They split us up into groups, and we had to teach our fellow mentors a theory assigned to us. And I do believe that this is us theorizing. Yes, and this was actually taken during my my day to teach with my group. They're doing an activity where they took random pictures which were not designed to be connected in any way and form a story.
It was very hard.
And they did they did a great job.
That's awesome. So y'all are up often, I imagine, like looking at things on the walls and being out of your chairs and really kind of hands-on learning in these situations?
Yes, very much.
Does that work well for you all?
Yes, because our mentoring class is at the end of the day. So, you know, we're kind of tired.
Yeah.
So it's good to like get us up and get the blood pumping and moving and yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I feel like when we do activities like that, it like puts our ideas into reality. So a lot of the activities we give our own opinions. So we have a lot of discussions. So it gives us more about viewpoints and how we feel about it and how we can come together with the common ground for our mentees.
Yeah, they do encourage us to, you know, respect each other's opinions, but to talk about your opinion, like to voice it, because you never know, like your opinion can make a difference on someone.
Yeah, and to get it out, especially in the context of all of you at the mentor level working together to make yourselves the best that you can be for your mentees, right?
Yes.
As we like kind of head toward having to close, let me ask, where do you see this program going in the future? Do you all work with it for just a year, or do you continue even into your senior year?
I would like to continue it into my senior year because I feel like it is something that is needed here. So I do, you know, it's a new program, but I do hope that it reaches for many years and beyond.
That's good.
I think our main objective when we first started was to mentor mentees, and then they turn into being mentors, and then it keeps on going and going and going, and hopefully it gets a lot more bigger, and it's more like a bigger kind of program, like a real renowned, real big program, because I feel like this is what freshmen kind of need really when they come. I mean, because they have advisors and things like that, but they need the student perspective, the one that's actually been through those classes, that's seen the teachers and talked to them and actually have that real experience to be very honest with them and things like that.
Yeah. On that note, thanks for talking with us today, Kaitlyn and Alerian. And thanks to Regan Scott, who was on earlier. And thank you to our viewers for joining us here on Campus to Community. We'll continue to talk to service learning faculty and students this semester. I'm Hannah Baggott-Anderson. See you next time.